Okay, welcome to SaaS Friday Take 2. That was a complete technical disaster there. So hopefully this is going out now. Let's hope so. But anyway, at least I think I'm recording it locally, if nothing else. So let's give it a go. So I guess maybe I should just paste that into the thing. Hang on. Yeah, that all potentially looks good. I'll turn that down, have I? Yeah, I have. Yeah, I think it's one of them. Yeah, I think we're there. So if I move my mouse, will it? Yeah. So that's it then. Right, let me just plop this into Facebook. Just in case anybody wants to catch it. Hang on. Right. So I'm just going to stick it in there, to be honest. Okay, and I just double check it's working and then we get underway because the show must go on, apparently. So, of course, that's not going to do anything. Yeah, I think we're there. Okay, let's carry on. Okay, phew. So, sorry about that complete technical disaster there, but here we go. Anyway, so SaaS Friday, celebrating SaaSes because it's my favourite business model. And tonight, a single concept show. So last week we did a very important show, which was how not to play Russian roulette with your SaaS. And I suggest you get that. It's now in the paid vault at, what's it called? click.com /Buick show. Put in the coupon Buick show to save a heap of money. Let me just type that in there just in case you're not understanding my accent or something. Plus it gives me a second to calm down after all that technical stuff. Anyway, right, so there you go. And the coupon code Buick Show to save a load of money. I suppose by rights I should put that in, really, in case you missed that as well. Okay, so last week, very important, Russian roulette with your SaaS, avoiding Russian roulette with your SaaS, even better actually, and it'll be in the paid vault, so you can get it from click.com /Buick show, put in the coupon Buick show, save money. Anyway, this week, today, right now, growing client success. Okay, this is our single concept show for tonight. Let me just make sure that's happening. I guess it is. Yeah, there we go. So here's the thing. So you've got your SaaS, and that's fine. And if people are coming to you, that's great. But what we tend to need to do is we need to attract new people into our kind of loop, and obviously we can do that with paid ads. Okay, the other thing, my headset, USB headset's crackling, so I'm now using a really, really heavy microphone. It must be, I don't know, £8 or something. It's really hard to hold. Anyway, so if you hear some knocking and I go off mic, it's because the thing is so heavy I'm wobbling around with it in my hand, which also means I've got only one hand to type. Anyway, so we can attract people, to our thing, to our SaaS. Okay. With paid ads. Okay, and also, as you'd expect, with kind of, content marketing, which I guess we'll leave there because it's also, syndicatable. Okay, but then the other thing that most people think of is they think of social posting, or social interaction, or whatever you want to call it. But the trouble with the social stuff is what you post. Okay, which is what I mean by what news. So you've got some of your own news, and that's great. But if you keep talking about what you did today, what you had for breakfast, or what you've achieved with your SaaS, it's only kind of that interesting for you, really, or certainly after a while. So what a lot of people do is that they post fake news, which is basically a form of curation. In other words, you take other people's news, you repurpose it for yourself, and you post that. But the trouble with that is it is other people's news, some of whom will be your competitors, and all of whom will probably not be that relevant or that exciting to the people coming, because you're not a news channel. They're not going to come to you to rely on industry news unless you really, really go out of your way to do that. So you're not really a really good source of industry news. Okay, you could be if you work really hard at it, but you're probably not. And honestly, it's not your job, really, to be honest. So what most people do is they do really bad curation, where they're posting all sorts of irrelevant nonsense, stuff from competitors, and things that just aren't that interesting to your potential traffic. So for me, that's a bit of an issue, to be honest. And some people even pay companies to do that for them, which kind of compounds the purity of that situation. So the big question is what do we want to post when we run out of our own news? I mean, your own news is great if there's enough of it, but again, unless somebody's already on your platform, they're probably not that interested in what you're doing. Okay, that's my inflection there. What you're doing. So what is it that we can post that is interesting? Okay, if you've been following along, you'll know what I'm going to say next, because I'm heavily into the client success. Now, why am I into the client success? Because if they're having success with your SaaS, A, it means that your SaaS is great and that it's working, but B, it means that it's essential to them because they're having success with it. If that's happening, then they're going to give you potentially give you testimonials. There's goodwill there. There's word of mouth kind of recommendations. What are you using? And they say, I'm using this SaaS, all that kind of stuff. And people are seeing it, working in action, getting results for other people. And that's one of the most inspiring things. So that basically creates social proof. Okay, so seeing it working, no surprise here, seeing it working creates social proof. Okay, so, well, wouldn't that be great if that was the news we were posting? Yeah, I think so. And also, as we say, because it's working, people might be happy to share, the success they're having with it, at least in broad terms. And then you're effectively getting testimonials if you're, interviewing or featuring or, getting quotes from, or just getting some case studies from other people who are having client success. So that's really the news that we want to post. And also, if you're putting it in terms of the success that they're having in the industry, then that's the best kind of industry news, because it's also related to your SaaS. Okay, so it's effectively your news, but you're not living vicariously through your client success, but you kind of are. So if they're having success with the thing, then that reflects beautifully on on your SaaS. So the big question is, basically, how can we set up? How can we set up a system where we get that client success, to come into us, regularly. Okay, how do we get the clients to share their successes, with us? So that's my kind of question for today. And of course, because this is live, and I haven't prepared it, and you can see it's live because we didn't even start because of the technical issues. How do we do this? So, I think the short answer, basically, is gamification, which is a weird thing because it's kind of not really a thing, although it is a thing. But it doesn't mean what most people think it means, which is to turn, to turn their job into a game. It doesn't really mean, turning it into a game. But it does mean, effectively, doing things like a game. So basically, acknowledging and rewarding their progress, whilst at the same time, what I've written there, whilst at the same time, oh good heavens, even that's playing me up now. Take that down one notch. Actually, I'll just make the whole thing bigger. Hang on. And come on. There we go. Whilst at the same time giving them, a checklist and a path to maximise their use and results. Okay, do you see how that works? It's quite neat, really. Especially if I could type. It's very hard with one hand when it's so heavy. Anyway, but at least it's not crackling, so that's the good news. So that's kind of the plan. So part of that gamification then could be to share their results, or findings or whatever, but that kind of thing, and that's kind of it. It's beautifully simple, isn't it? But that's what we want to do. So how can we do that practically? Well, obviously we can just email them and ask them, but we could put the simplest version of this, which I'm actually sort of borrowing from AppSumo actually, or where I've seen it the most anyway. I don't think they invented it. Is the mood indicator. Okay, it's kind of a bit stupid, but it's kind of good. So just change the smiley face, happy face, and whatever. So at least that gives you some sort of statistic as to how everybody's feeling, and that kind of thing. Also, it could be just a little kind of form. It could even be a Google Doc, I guess, and you could do it manually. It doesn't have to be all automated and all that. Okay, so it could just be a Google Doc form of, I'm not sure how we word it, but basically, share your good news or something like that. Okay, we'd need to phrase it a bit better than that to make it worthwhile them doing. And the other thing that we can do there is the reward for that okay, because if If it's gamification, there has to be a reward. So one thing that we can give everybody is some sort of badge, sharing badge, or good news badge, whatever you want to call it. Good news badge is quite funny, quite like that, but maybe it's too funny, I don't know. Anyway, it's a sharing badge, and also we can make that timely, for this week. And you could just call it, most active, or I don't think we'd call it most successful, but just in case that triggers something else in you, that's another option, that we can do. But the thing I like about that is basically everybody can get that. Okay, if they take in part, then they can get that reward. Okay, but the big reward, okay, which is worth them, or in my opinion, is worth them going for, is going to be the featured badge. Okay, now that works in two ways, because it helps you obviously, but it also kind of feeds their ego, because they're getting acknowledged for it. But it also does have a financial and traffic benefit, because when they share their story, their case study, they're actually getting exposure. Okay, and if you feature that on your homepage that week, then anyone coming along to do it who doesn't want to do it on their own with your SaaS will use your customer who's using your SaaS to do the thing. So if they offer this as a service, in other words, then you're basically recommending them as one of your kind of semi-official SaaS users to do that, and that basically means more work for them. Okay, so there is a kind of a monetary value in them being featured. Okay, do you see? So there's pride. Maybe I should say pride instead of ego, but anyway, same sort of things. So there's pride and ego, and then there's also the financial rewards and the traffic rewards, and SEO benefit and all that, and social momentum, effectively. Because again, you might put this kind of news out. Well, in fact, you will be putting this kind of news out on your social channels. Okay, because this is your momentum news. Okay, so hang on, social channels. Oops. Momentum channels. Okay, because what we said here was that the best news, certainly over fake news, was your client's success, because they're using your SaaS to do it, so that reflects really well on you. So this is the way that we're going to get them to participate in this, and to reward them for participating in this, and this is what feeds your social news here. So I'm making a mess of that. Right, there we go. Oh, we've done it again. Come on, finger trouble. There we go. Okay, and there we go. And again, as I say, we like this to be an everybody reward, because if they take part, they should be rewarded, because that's what the reward's for. Okay, everybody reward. There we go. I can't get that to fit. Anyway, sorry. So the other thing would be, for this, basically, is that you could offer, very easily, manually. It doesn't have to all be super automated and complicated. Very easy is to offer points. Okay, and those points could actually be, to something generic like, an Amazon gift certificate. Okay, or it could be, extra SaaS power. Okay, or it could be something else that you dreamt up. But they're the things that are springing into my head, because I think everybody would like them. There was a company called Viking, or is a company called Viking, who are stationary suppliers, and their big thing was that they would give you a tin of biscuits if you ordered enough envelopes. That's weird, but people would do it just to get the biscuits, because there's an interesting thing between consumers and customers there, in that the staff ordering making the orders were staff, and they were the people who would get the biscuits, and they didn't really care if their company had to pay for more envelopes than they needed that minute. They weren't spending, normally I'd imagine, hope anyway, they weren't buying stuff willy-nilly. It was stuff that they needed and would get through, but the point is that it would focus them on ordering it, a quantity at that moment. So maybe they didn't need them at that moment, they would need them, but maybe not at that moment. So, by giving away the tin of biscuits to the person who was ordering, who wasn't necessarily the person who was paying for, the envelopes, they would get the biscuits, the tin of biscuits. So, and, or chocolates, or a toaster, or, a coffee percolator, or, something that, ordinary, people, staff would enjoy. Okay, so it wasn't aimed at rewarding the the owner of the business who paid the bill. It was aimed at appeasing the staff, so that they could have a big tin of biscuits and share them out and have a good time, basically. And you can imagine how that would work with wine or whatever. So that kind of incentivizing is basically what that point system there is. It's about rewarding the people who do the work, who place the order but maybe not pay for the order, incentivizing them to to take part and order, in that particular case, order stuff. So point systems do work. It's part of the gamification thing, and it's something real, and I wouldn't put the target excuse me, I wouldn't put the target that way out. I wouldn't make them get 10,000 points to get a tin of biscuits or something. I think something that they could get within a week or 2 or 3 weeks max, really, if they take part, because this is part of your promotional vehicle. A pound packet of biscuits, for all of your members, is shouldn't break the bank if they're paying more than £1 a month for the for the service. So if you're charging them £97 pounds a month for the SaaS, then just give them £1 of that back, basically, in in a packet of biscuits or chocolates or whatever you want. So the money's there to finance this, but it's not just about giving the money back. It's the the huge benefit you're getting, from them supplying you the news, basically, the client success news. And as I say, you're helping them because you're getting their company exposure, but you're also rewarding them physically with this physical points thing, whether it's a gift certificate or actual, you actually post it. It's up to you. And also with the the pride thing in that they're being featured that week, and you can run a little chart, just like in a in an actual game. You can have a Hall of Fame thing, because the Hall of Fame is great for you, because it's basically showing you that you've got all these customers who are actually taking part, who are having success. It helps them because they're getting basically a semi-permanent backlink or exposure, and what else was I going to say there? I can't spell permanent. There we go. And and it's changing maybe every month, but it means that people have a vested interest, because even if they're not featured that week, at least they've been featured in one of the other weeks. So even if it just turns out to be a kind of a pat on the back for all of your customers, that's perfect, because that's what we want. Hall of Fame changing every week. It's another thing. To momentum, from momentum, you can turn it into a chart. You can make it into, something funny or whatever. By, making them superheroes and, making them comic characters or whatever. Or giving them funny names. Maybe it depends how funny your clients are. But there's all sorts of potential to make that, the Hall of Fame quite entertaining. But the main thing for you is it's an ongoing list of successes that your customers have had, and as I say, they benefit out of it from the exposure and the pride and the traffic and the SEO, and at the same time they're going to get something physical out of it, to actually reward them. But again, it keeps you top of mind to use your SaaS. And also the other thing that's happening here, and that's really why gamification is such a powerful, potentially powerful thing, is that the gamification actually is, training them, to use you, but also to get results. And them getting results, as I keep saying, is, the best thing that you can possibly do for your business. So, so that's why, this is worth doing. Okay. But it's not just a game, and it's not just news and publicity and content for you, UGC content for you. It's also actually training your users, to get results, which is really, onboarding, and that's why gamification is used for onboarding, because of this, factor. So anyway, so that's kind of it. So I don't know if that makes sense or not. It was all a bit fraught with the, non-start with the technical issues, but that's basically it. Again, it might seem very simple. It's very obvious. There's nothing new in here. But, the bottom line is that, to keep momentum and your PR and your social status, going, you need to publish some sort of content on news. But, so what news? As I say, you're going to run out of your own news. We certainly don't want to post the fake news. So the best news you can have is your client's news. Okay, but we need to encourage them to provide that news. So how do we do that? Well, that's what this thing was about. So we add the gamification in. It could be as simple as a mood, a swing vote thing. It could be a Google Doc where they just submit stuff, or you might actually integrate it in your SaaS. It's up to you how far you want to go. But Google Doc would track it well enough for you to to reward the points, and then you just once a week you just spend 10 minutes collating that data, putting them in your Hall of Fame, allocating the points out, and telling everybody what's going on, and then that's your news source I should say, sorry, and that gives you the social momentum, and your basically your news. Let me take that one. The other one. Never mind. What did I just do then? Oh, I see. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense, and hopefully you see why that's a phenomenally great idea. Okay, somebody will probably make a SaaS to manage that, I imagine. I don't know if it would be me, but it's it seems like a really good thing. We've always had these kind of point schemes like Nectar and all that. Well, this is a kind of localized Nectar, to reward your users and to give you news at the same time. Anyway, that's basically it. That was the sum total of my idea for today. But as I say, the best news is your client success news. How do we encourage them to do that? We add in gamification, but one that has a point because it has a reward. It has pride because of the Hall of Fame and the featured badges, and everybody gets some sort of thing out of it because they're acknowledged for taking part. But the real secret here really is that gamification is actually part of your onboarding and part of training your customers to have client success. So it's a double win-win really. It's PR, it's news, it's social content, it's social proof, and it's actually training your customers to have more success with your SaaS anyway. So that's it. I shall see you next time. I'll see you next week. Hopefully it will work a lot smoother than it did this week. So talk to you then. Bye bye for now. Bye bye, and have a great Friday. Bye bye.